Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Style POV, the podcast where we dive into the real stories behind personal style with the people who live and shape them. Today, I'm joined by someone whose approach to fashion is both deeply personal and incredibly editorial and amazing. Anastasia Souris, also known as the Denim Curator, she's carved out a niche as a tastemaker through her thoughtful exploration of one of the most iconic fashion staples we know, denim. With her background in marketing for brands like Victoria's Secret, Steve Madden, Michael Kors, Anastasia blends her industry experience with a refreshingly relatable point of view. Her signature series, The Denim Edit, has become a go-to for fashion lovers and vintage hunters alike, offering insights on fit, history, and how to shop with intention. But what I really love about Anastasia is her style feels lived in and personal. It's not just about what's trending, it's about storytelling, craftsmanship, and feeling like yourself. She's also in the midst of planning her wedding, so we'll be chatting a bit about that as well and how that's shaping her style. You can follow her work or get lost in some beautiful denim inspiration over at anastasiasouris.comi.io, which is linked in the show notes. So, without further ado, let's dive in. I am so excited to welcome Anastasia to the podcast. So, let's start at the top. For people who might be new to your world, how would you describe your background and what you do?
Yeah, so my background is it's been a journey. I started in fashion. I worked in fashion kind of like on the marketing and PR side for about 3 years. And then I moved into strictly marketing, PR, and kind of was missing my fashion component in my life. So I started posting just very nonchalantly online and sharing my outfits and like kind of garnered a community, and it's now turned into my full-time gig, which is so exciting. I really love what I do, and it's very centered around community and kind of like finding your personal style. So it was a journey to get there, but the best kind.
That's amazing. So I know you have a very authentic and like real community that you've built. And I think that's like super hard to do in this landscape. Do you think that when you were working in marketing, you worked for brands like Victoria's Secret, Michael Kors, how did that background in fashion marketing influence the way you personally approached your style?
I think it influenced me a lot because my biggest takeaway in my career prior to starting this was really finding the brand voice for each company that I worked with. And I think that just stuck with me. I recognized how important it was to really curate and lean into the voice that you're building. And I think I just carried that with me into my own personal voice and my personal style and just leaned into that and tried not to please and accommodate everyone with every style and everything. Like, really, just if you're into this, then great. I have a spot for you. This is great. But trying not to spread myself too thin. And I learned that in my career prior to starting this. It was really important for me.
So you were kind of developing, or you realized the importance of your own personal brand voice. Is that kind of how you saw personal style as your own brand?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I noticed that in other people too. Like, I would be so inspired by people's personal style. I'm like, what is it? And it's like you can spot things that are like, oh, that's that person. And it's like their own kind of personal brand, and it's curated or like through your style, which is fun for me.
So when you're working with a brand like Michael Kors, like they obviously have a very strong brand voice, and you were helping that come out into the world. Now, when you were developing your own personal style and brand voice, were you really touching on, was there a messy middle? Were you like streamlined of this is my voice, I know what it is? Talk about that process a little bit. Because I've seen your style now and it's epic and beautiful and timeless. It's come so far, but I want to know, how did you get to this strong brand voice?
Yeah, well, thank you. It was not always this. I definitely had my messy middle and finding what fit, and that's just a part of the journey. It really is the process. I envy people who find it at a younger age and can just completely commit to it and lean in. And I definitely did not have that journey. I was super boho. Had a very preppy phase. It's funny because I always loved this timeless classic staples, but I felt like at 21 or even younger, it didn't suit me at the time, but I always looked up to it. I always thought like, oh, that's so beautiful when I would see people who could carry it. And I think it just came to a point where I was like, why don't I just lean into the thing? I like this. Why don't I just lean in? And kind of like allowing myself to do that. And little by little, it just kind of fully became a part of my style. I think the journey to get there was super important. It's fun. It's not that serious. Try different things, see what fits. And there's still elements of each of those journeys or those like eras that have followed me through. And that's what is personal style. You find the things that you like from each era, and maybe the fringe boho jacket didn't work for me. So I left that one behind, but the gold bangles came with me. It's like, it's the process.
It's like treasure hunting, you try it on and then it's like some things feel like a costume and you're like, maybe this isn't, authentic to me. The fringe jacket looks so good on Sienna Miller, but when I try it on, maybe there's like that disconnect.
Yes.
Were there any influences or style inspirations that kind of helped you bring this voice to light? Or was it just kind of you were trying trends and trusting your inner instincts?
I was always inspired by like the classic icons. Like Jane Birkin has been my inspo for, it feels like eternity. From my boho era to now my more capsule closet tailored version. People like that, like a Grace Kelly, a Jane Birkin, even like the 90s supermodel type of inspo has always been, I feel like my Pinterest board is like filled with that. And it's really helped me kind of try things that I see that I like. I'm like, okay, how's that going to translate for me? And some things stick, some things don't. It's kind of the same thing, but those have been my pillars in building my personal style.
So I totally agree. Jane Birkin is just like such an icon, and her style has just like surpassed decades of admiration. Every time we look at it, it's just good. It's amazing. What did you find so inspiring about Jane Birkin's style? Are there any key pieces that you really pulled through and decided to be like, yes, this is a core part of my personal brand, my personal style?
It was her effortlessness. She was perfectly undone, but perfectly put together. The ease of the perfect pair of denim with a baby tee and a wicker basket, like I die for it. It brings this energy of like, you want to know more about her. What's her story? Where is she going? Like, she could go anywhere with this outfit. It's so intriguing to me, and I was just mesmerized by each of her outfits. And yeah, that's kind of what did it for me. I wanted to emulate that sort of easiness because it fit with my life too. I'm not always super dressed up. I like a little bit of undone and a little bit of lived in and relaxed.
Okay, so let's talk about that because I know that you have a lovely series called The Denim Edit. And you take like jeans and you take them into this like very intentional editorial styling. And what was it about denim that called you to create this series? Why was it that piece that you chose?
I feel like it unintentionally became a part of my identity. I love them. I genuinely just love denim. I love a vintage Levi. I love everything about the hunt, finding the perfect pair, having a go-to pair that you just know, like, no matter what I pair with this, it will be a perfect outfit. And I was just styling them all the time. I would get so many questions about it. And I was like, you know what? Like, I too love denim. Like, I have answers for some of these things. So I figured let's turn this into something that's more intentional, like you said. I realized people have a lot of questions about denim, like how to style them, what shoes to wear with them. For someone who doesn't wear them all the time and wants to, it feels like an overwhelming experience to find a good pair of jeans. And I feel like I've really committed a lot of time to finding a good pair of jeans. So I'm here to spread the wealth.
I love that because I think that denim has become such a staple in our style, and there's so many options and sizing and trends. It feels like you can kind of be on a treadmill of trying to find what is the pair of jeans that I can throw on every day and feel like they are just chef's kiss in an outfit. Can you share a little bit about what you think the best approach is to finding the perfect jeans, or how did you, because you look great in jeans and I love every pair you show. How did you figure out this formula?
It really is, you have to commit. You have to just go in and try them on. Like, it's so hard. Everyone's shape is so different. Everyone feels comfortable in different things. And I think jeans are such a personal thing. You really have to feel good in them. And that's half the battle. So for me, it's just trying them all on. Like, I've learned some styles that fit better than others. So now that I've kind of like registered what works a little better for me, I will gravitate towards things that are similar to that. So For me, I love a mid-rise. Super high-rise doesn't always work well for me. I'm on the petite side. It kind of cuts me off and I look disproportionate. So when I see that, I just don't even gravitate towards that anymore. And I think that's half the battle, is just figuring out a good shape for you. And that's like a really good starting point. And then you don't have to worry about all the extra noise. You can just focus on some things that work best for you.
Yeah, I think it's also about finding what works and then repeating that magic and just slowly expanding it instead of saying, I need the flare, I need the boot cut, I need the wide leg, I need the baggy, I need the straight. It's too much. Like, find one you like, find one you wear regularly, and then take it one step further to find your second pair of that. It doesn't have to be you fill each category to the brim right at the beginning.
Exactly. And that's a lesson I learned in life, is just being patient, because I have been the victim of buying so many pairs of jeans, and not even just jeans, just clothes in general, trying to fill the void of the one thing I really want, and I'll get so many of them. And it's like, it doesn't quite do it. It's not what you're looking for. This is something I'm still practicing, but just kind of waiting and being patient and knowing, like, in time, it will come. You don't need to check every single box all at once. Like, it's okay if you don't have the perfect pair of flare jeans at the moment.
Yeah, it will. And I want to talk about your vintage hunting a little bit too, because I know you're very good at finding that. And that is a lesson in patience too.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to wait for the right pair to come. You can't rush the process. If you buy like the B- jeans, you're not going to wear them. So talk a little bit about like what you look for in those vintage pieces.
Vintage hunting is like, it's a life lesson. There's a greater purpose to vintage hunting, I swear, because you really have to be okay with being disappointed. It's okay if you go and the piece isn't perfect, leave it behind. Don't spend the money on it. Don't go home with it. You're never going to wear it. It's literally going to sit in your closet. I have done this too many times. And they just sit there. I'm like, I knew in the moment they weren't perfect. Like, why did I do that? So it's truly a test of patience. And I think turn it into something that's like a little more positive. Go with the intention of whatever's there for me is meant for me. If it's not, it's okay. We can go get a cup of coffee and turn that experience into something else. So when I'm there, I've now set the bar really high. Like, they have to be perfect. They have to fit at the waist right. They have to hit at the ankle right. If there's like minor tweaks that need to be done, like if they just need to be hemmed a little bit, okay, I can work with that. But like, the fit really has to be perfect. I can't do the bulging like pockets anymore. I used to be like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's like, no, it has to be perfect now.
I think that comes a little bit with age and developing your style too. Because I feel when you're like 21, you're just kind of like, whatever, it's fine.
Totally.
It looks cool. It's all good. And then the more you grow into your style, the more you realize like, oh, wow, this does make a difference. And you don't want to do the self-bargaining in the dressing room where you're like, if I just hem it and dye it and then take it in at the waist and, maybe pair it with a big sweatshirt, then it'll work. Like, it's not a deal to be had. The perfect jean for you exists out there in the world. You just have to find it.
Totally. And I will say I'm such a hypocrite, because when it comes to jeans, they have to be perfect. But when it comes to other vintage items, I'm like, okay, we could do something here. I can take this dress and I've done this. Like, I just bought a pair of pants I want to wear to my courthouse ceremony. They were like 5 sizes too big, so long on me. But I was like, they're perfect. I'm going to get them and I will redo them.
So what do you think about jeans that makes your standards so high? Is it that you've just like honed this perfect style and you know what an A+ jean now looks like? Or
Yeah, and I think they're harder to perfect. It's really hard to take a pair of jeans that are a couple sizes too big, kind of fitting wrong in the wrong places, and turn them into the perfect jean. It doesn't work. And I know because I've tried a few times, and you end up spending a lot of money on alterations. They don't look and feel the way like a perfect worn in vintage pair feel. And I think it comes with like knowing what that perfect pair feels like and knowing like, okay, I can never recreate this magic. I just have to stumble across it.
definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your style philosophy. And I also want to get to the courthouse ceremony and your wedding in a second. But let's start where did it all begin? What's your style philosophy now? How's it feeling? Let's start there.
Yeah. I think my philosophy is really centered around ease and wearability. I really try my best. I'm not perfect at this by any means, but to get pieces that are wearable and I can wear multiple times. And I really try to rewear my closet as much as possible. And I think that's the beauty of creating a capsule wardrobe, but being able to kind of like add in some flair throughout. So it took time to build this kind of capsule piece, knowing what worked for me. Like I love blazers, I love denim, I love basic tees. Okay, those are my gold standard. And then from there, it's like we can add in the style. I love a chunky gold jewelry or, a bag. So kind of like being able to create something that will grow with me is really my end goal with my wardrobe. And it's carried me through and it's fun for me, the hunt of like adding pieces. I'm trying to be very intentional about them.
Yeah, it seems like you've developed a very timeless style and that you've really honed into formulas and kind of the boundaries of your style, of places where you like to push it maybe a little bit, maybe with your jewelry, etc. And then places you stay a little bit more structured and classic. Would you say that's accurate or?
Totally.
So where did all this like knowledge come from? Do you want to talk about any personal inspirations or like childhood associations with style? You seem like style has always come very naturally to you.
I've always loved fashion. Even as a little girl, it was like cutting up my dresses that my mom would get me to recreate them into something else. And like, God love her, she let me do it. As an adult now, I'm like, there's no way. But now it's like, okay, maybe that was the right thing because she let me experiment and she let me really kind of showcase this passion I had even as like a young girl. I remember like everything was a fashion show. If we'd go shopping, I'd have to come down the stairs, show her everything. I was trying on every piece I got. So it was very much like ingrained in me and carried me throughout. It's definitely something that's evolved over time. I think being able to kind of go through these different phases of my style was a fun thing. I love that I was able to like experiment through different phases and ages to kind of like get to where I'm at now. So
yeah, it kind of like broke open that creativity and that need to be like, I need to customize this. This isn't perfect. It can be better.
Exactly. I think that's why I still am the way I am today with like some of the vintage pieces or other things. I'm like, I could do this a little better, I think.
I love that. Do you think that you've paid more attention to those things or your style has changed or deepened as you've been like growing your community online? Because that's like a very public display. You really have a legacy of outfits that you can look back on.
Yeah. I usually don't think too much about it. It feels very organic and natural in my everyday life. And then sometimes I do think about it. I'm like, oh, how's this going to age? Is this like going to be good? But it's a part of the process. I mean, having this community and like, it's funny because I think sometimes my community will check me and be like, wait, this is not you. Like, we're doing something here. We're trying something on. I don't know what's going on. Some people are here for it. Some people aren't. But it's funny because they kind of keep me in check. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, but it's very cool to create something that feels like it's like stamped. Okay, this is a very me outfit. And I see people tag me in outfits that they've recreated, and it's very much a formula of like denim, basic top, maybe a pair of pumps. It's very much like a style, but it's fun. I really enjoy it.
So let's talk about when you break that formula a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, where have you gone and been like, oh, wait, no, that's not me, or like discovered something new?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like sometimes you come across a gem and then it becomes a part of the repertoire. Other times it's like, I could have left that one behind. I remember I did this dress. It was like I don't know what I was thinking. It was like semi-recently, but it was like knitted kind of see-through bubblegum pink dress with a ruffle sleeve. And I don't know why. It was very strange. And the way I was called out immediately, it was like, okay. Okay, I'm gonna support, but like, let's not do this again.
It was a little bit like, is that really you? Is this an inner child coming out moment
Totally.
or something?
No, it kind of haunts me to this day. Sometimes it pops up or I see it, I'm like, I don't know what that was, but that's the journey.
Well, let's talk about your wedding because I know you have a wedding coming up, and I feel like that is when First of all, you get to spend a lot of time thinking about aesthetic choices, even more so than your day to day. You never realize like how much effort and detail goes into it. I was a bridal designer for a long time, so I
Oh, you
talked to
get
brides, yeah, and like you know that it's a big emotional journey to develop this like iconic moment. So let's talk about it. How is wedding planning going?
Yeah, it is something else. You know, all things considered, it's going very well. It's good, it's great, it's fun. I didn't expect to feel this attached and invested in every single detail and making it perfect. I've surprised myself about that. Like, because I think in my content, in my style, it's super relaxed and like, sure, it's intentional, but it's never really perfect. It's kind of chill.
Mhm.
And with the wedding, I feel the pressure. I feel like, oh my gosh, everything has to be so good. The social media piece, because like I do this, sure, that's one part of it. Definitely. I'd be lying if it wasn't. But even just like for my guests, everyone at my family will be like, oh my God, we're so excited. It's coming up. And they're like, did you pick your outfits? Is this ready? Is that ready? I'm like, oh my God, the pressure I cannot handle. Like,
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm
It kind
spending
of
a
feels
lot of time figuring out what to wear, the perfect accessory, the perfect shoe, and I'm exhausted.
it kind of feels like you're being put to the test a little bit, is the vibe I got from a lot of brides, like walking them through the design process. Because they're like, I know this is my style, but now like the stakes are raised. Like, this is it. Everything has to be perfect because I only get one chance and the photos are
Exactly.
gonna live on forever.
A lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, were there any new surprises or like new reflections about your style as you went through this? Did you feel like you had to define it more? Because it seems like it comes really naturally to you in a daily outfit building way, but it's low pressure there, right?
Yeah.
Don't like your outfit, next day, try something new. The
Exactly.
wedding, it's like
It's
one
washed away.
chance. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I think I really leaned into what is my style? What do I love? What is it that I love? And not so much like what is like a quintessential bridal moment. And it's really helped me just stay centered in my choices. And I'm doing okay. I'm stable. To add, insult to injury, it's like a week long of being in Greece with these events. I'm exhausted finding the perfect outfit for everything. And I kind of have had to check myself and say, like, it's okay. Like,
Mhm.
just be authentic to you and your style and what you would wear. And don't try to put this like crazy over the top outfit that I wouldn't even naturally wear. I just have to constantly check in and it's helpful. But
Yeah, you want to avoid the like bubblegum pink ruffled dress
let's not
popping
have
up in
that moment.
the wedding roster.
Exactly.
So are you trying to then kind of stick to those words of timeless and casual and comfort and like classic beauty or Jane Birkin nod as you
Definitely.
develop it?
Definitely. And I think what's been fun is I'm getting married on the island that my family's from, and I grew up going there every summer. And it's a very, very authentic island, very relaxed. It's very like if Greece were to be put into a time capsule, like this is it. So I've leaned into my kind of island heritage with the looks. So it's very much a blend of my personal relaxed casualness with this like Greek authenticity. And it's been really fun to curate the pieces and they feel very me and I'm super excited.
I think that's so important too. When you have a personal connection to something, it adds so much value to the look, and you know that it's something that's you'll look back on and be like, this was right. This was 100% me because it's just part of your roots.
Exactly. It's been
Um,
really special.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, you have so much wisdom on denim and style, and you've obviously curated a wonderful online community around your own personal style. So, for someone like starting out on their personal style journey, especially if they want to get into vintage pieces or denim, or maybe have a wedding of their own to plan, where would you suggest that they begin?
I would suggest start with your closet, start with what you have, take a weekend afternoon and go through things and really be honest with yourself. And this is something that I have done now for years. I go through, like, do I like this? Does this look good on me? Does this make me feel good? Do I feel confident in this? And when you have that pile, it might be big, it might be small. I feel like that is your starting point. And to know, okay, these types of things like really suit me. I think like the feeling, like the emotion that these pieces evoke is so important, and to really like just listen to yourself, because I think there's a lot of noise and of trends and everything going on. It's easy to be like, oh, I have to get the barrel leg jean. Like that's what's new. Like you don't. You can just work with the things that you have. And then from there, like pay attention, look around. I love Pinterest. Like I kind of type in keywords. Like I love a Levi's 501. How are people styling them? What do I like? What can I gravitate towards? Don't be afraid to try things on and experiment. Go to the vintage store, try something on. Wear the pair of jeans or the pair of pants that you love and try a bunch of different tops or jackets. And what do you like? It takes effort to do this, but then once you've found your landing spot and what works, it comes very easy because you know what works, you know it doesn't. You're no longer wasting time. It doesn't feel as overwhelming.
Such a strong voice, though. Like, you know how to put the full outfit together. How do you think that someone should start that? Because I think people struggle. They find the right pair of jeans and then they're kind of like, but now what? Like, how do I find the right shoe? How do I? And you are so good at creating that head to toe look that just feels seamless and balanced. Do you think that just comes with practice, or how did it evolve for you?
I think it comes with practice. I think it comes with inspiration. Like I said, I love Pinterest. I'm on it all the time and I see something, I'm like, oh, I've never thought to do that. And you try it and you have to experiment and see, does this work? Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. And when it's with your own pieces, you start to have a connection to it and you're like, okay, I like this. For example, I love a pointed toe pump. For some reason, I think because I'm short, it makes me feel longer and leaner and taller. It works for me. So now I have like 8 pairs of pumps and I wear them with everything. And they've become part of my go-tos. And it's because I probably saw it on Pinterest, someone styling a pair of jeans with a pair of pumps. And I was like, this looks really cool. Let me try it. So I think you really can't be afraid to experiment. And it comes with time. It comes with practice and trying things on in the mirror. And there's some things that I just love in the photo and I do it myself and it doesn't work. It's not proportional or it doesn't kind of sit with me and I don't force it. I think that's the key, is just like not to force something that doesn't feel right for you.
Absolutely. And I think what you do so well, and I think this is great advice for anyone, is you find something that works for you and then you expand and tweak it for the next one. It's like you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes it's just expanding it or shifting it. Like, you have the pointed toe shoe. Now I'm going to try it in a kitten heel. Now I'm going to try it in a taupe. Now I'm going to try it with a metal buckle over it. There's all these little ways you can say, this is what works. Now let's just go slightly outside of that.
Exactly. And I think it makes getting dressed for anything easier because you have something. You know that there's an easy outfit you could put together because you've curated these things, and it frees up space to add different things in. Like, you're no longer standing there. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of times I've standing in my closet like I have nothing to wear. I hate everything. Like, that's reality. But the ease of getting dressed is there's so much less pressure now because I just know there's things in there that I can easily throw together no matter what. And I can now experiment with some different things and try and add new things in. And you don't feel as overwhelmed, because it's very overwhelming if you feel like you have nothing and you don't know what your style is. It's a burden for sure.
Yeah, I think when you're working with things that all work together and have that versatility, that capsule aspect, it becomes so easy to say like, okay, I started with these jeans, but they're not working, so I'm going to throw these ones on instead because that'll look better with the outfit. That being said, and I think we touched on this earlier, getting to the point where you say no to fashion and to trends can be really difficult in shopping. It's like you get the Instagram ad or like a sale email and you're like, oh, but I kind of think that looks cool. How do you handle trends in your style, in your wardrobe curation? Because your closet is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It's a bummer when things don't work. You feel it. You're like, oh, this is going to be so good. I love this. And you try it and it just doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes it does. And that's a beautiful feeling. You're like, oh, finally. I think I just have to just really trust my gut and knowing you're not going to wear it. You're not going to like it. You're not going to feel good in it. And it's okay. These trends are a blessing and a curse because they come in and they leave so quickly. For example, I think on other people, that little bubble hem skirt, when I see people wearing it, I'm like, this is so cute. When I put it on, I'm like, I can't do it. It's just, It doesn't work. And I just leave it behind. And maybe instead of like, if I see an outfit and I really love the outfit and it has the bubble skirt, but I also like the whole outfit in general, recreate the whole outfit, but swap the bottom for something that's flattering for you and that fits you better. And like, you still kind of scratch that itch, but it works with what you've got and what, flatters you. So I do that often.
Learning how to say no to certain trends, like the butter yellow trend. Like, not everyone's going to look good in butter yellow. We don't all need to try it.
Exactly.
Is
Exactly. And you can do it with like, maybe you do a butter yellow shoe.
Yeah,
Or a
exactly.
purse. Like, yeah.
It's all about honing those things and
Yeah.
deciding like, no, this one I've tried and explored and it's just not landing. So what's a piece in your closet right now that you feel like is like a perfect reflection of your style or you're just loving right now?
So my vintage Levi's, that is like the epitome of my style. Like I will wear them till they're in the ground. I love them. Another piece is like a classic little white tee. Like I love a ribbed fitted white tee and I just wear it all the time with anything and I just think it's such a effortless piece to have. And then like the two combined, I'm done. Like if I don't ever know what to wear, I'm wearing my vintage Levi's in a little white tee and you could wear a heel, a loafer, a sneak, like it doesn't matter. Like you could do anything with it. Those are my tried and true.
Those are good ones. Now you have to kind of spill, what are your tips for finding the vintage Levi's? Because it is, I mean, I know you probably don't want to, but we want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one thing I tend to gatekeep because it is tough out there to find a good pair, but I will share. So I haven't tried online yet. I think I have to say I'm incredibly lucky to live in LA where our vintage is just, we have lots of variety. You can go anywhere and it's really good. Because I'm here, I have my spots. I love RLT Vintage is so good. She has that eye that she just knows like what pieces to get. Same thing though, it's kind of hit or miss. Like you have to go in, they have to have your size, you have to have the right thing. But I tend to get pretty lucky when I go there. But I now know like look out for your sizing, learn what your vintage sizing is. It's not the same as regular sizing. Figure out what your vintage sizing is. Go to some of the spots. Don't be afraid. If you're in LA, like there's so many vintage markets, like Melrose. In Venice, there's another one. There's gems there. There's really good gems there. RLT is curated, but also incredible. So
I think that's the benefit of being able to try it on though. Online, unless you really know the brand and you know the style, the sizing is so chaotic between basically brands, decades, all of that, that you end up feeling really dismayed because you're like, I'm always a 26. Why am I not a 26 in this jean? And then it becomes like a negative experience.
totally.
So being able to go and try it on and just like try on 5 pair of jeans, all different sizes, all different styles, and just be like, what is this giving me? Is just
Exactly. And like, don't forget too that even though the tag might say one size, like because it's vintage, who knows who altered it? Who knows like what other alterations happened to this denim along its lifeline? Like, so it's really hard to buy online. It's really hard. And that's why I've done it before and it's been unsuccessful. So you have to go in person.
Yeah, and the denim is just one of those things. Like fit is so important. They don't fit, you're not going to wear them. You shouldn't have to rip your jeans off the moment you get home,
Oh my
and
God.
there's no standardization of style across brands and decades. Like there is no
Exactly.
like formula where designers all have to comply to make this brand a 26 size. That doesn't exist. Everyone gets to decide their own rules. So be gentle
Exactly.
with yourself.
Be gentle. That is the message. It just really, it's not you, it's the jeans.
Yes, exactly. We're not supposed to fit in jeans. Jeans are supposed to fit for us, for our
Yes.
lifestyles. I just love what you're doing online. I love your denim edits. I think you create beautiful classic outfits that people can get so much inspiration from to see your process of how you put things together. So, what's next for you? Any upcoming projects or anything you're excited about? I know probably your wedding.
Yeah. Right now, I feel like 1,000 tabs open in my brain with this wedding coming up. So that is project number one. But I'm really excited. I have some really fun installments coming up for the denim edit that are in the works. So that's really exciting. Some vintage focused ones, and then a few others that are really excited. So I'm looking forward to sharing that and kind of hitting the ground running post-wedding as well when I
Yes.
feel like I'm a human.
You probably won't feel like a human for a while, though.
Yeah.
There's just too many things to do, too many things to remember to bring, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited to see some of your wedding looks. I saw a few on your Instagram and they are amazing. And for anyone who wants to follow her or find out more, we can link all of her social channels in the show notes. But do you want to share your biggest channel?
Yeah. Yeah. My personal is at Anastasia Souris, and I also do a styling page called Styled by Stas, linked on my profile. So that's just taking me out of it, purely just outfit inspo, kind of in a flat lay. And it's
I
like
love that.
my own journey. Truly, I did it for myself.
That's amazing. Okay, one last question. What is in your cart right now? What are you buying?
Oh, okay. Right now, I have a pair of earrings that I'm really excited about. They're from the brand Juju Vera. I connect with the brand a lot. She also comes from a Greek background, and they are the epitome of my style, like vintage inspired, a nod to the 70s. When it comes to accessories, that's my vibe. And I am planning on styling them for wedding weekend festivities. I'm really excited. I need to pull the trigger on them so they can.
Yes, yes, they have to get here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's perfect. And I love that you have those little touches of the 70s come in. It's kind of like the Jane Birkin reference.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And it
Exactly.
adds such a nice, like, casual touch to your style. I just want to say it has been so wonderful to have you on. Thank you so much for coming. And any
Oh my
last parting
gosh.
words?
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I'm down to talk fashion anytime.
I know. I love it. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing all the fabulous wedding outfits. So you have to
Thank
share
you so
them.
much.
They'll
Thank
be
you.
perfect. Don't worry.
Fingers crossed.
They will. They will. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time.